Going 6-6 in the half, the complexion of the battle, well, honestly changed drastically as NRG managed to walk away with a win. And I think it's just safe to say that this narrative that has come out of Americas of Victor and Crashies and the duo and also Finesse's attack calling and all these different things really came to fruition in this Ascent game, Mimi.
Yeah, with the first half ending 6-6, it seemed like Navi were going to be able to rally and come back into that one. But the thing, as it always has seemed to do, that saved NRG is this duo of Crashies and Victor. In the second half, it seems like these guys could not lose in the late rounds. Finesse was setting his team up in really good situations for these late site hits, and these players were just taking advantage of them.
We were discussing it here on the desk while we were watching the game, right? The fact that the mid-round call was so on point for NRG, but also on the other side, and Navi that was making things a little bit easy, trying to actually play in a little bit against themselves. We saw those retakes that I hope I never have to see again. And Navi that gets that gets to get both pistols on both of the sides, but still on that second half doesn't manage to find the tempo, to find the right moment to interject with the execution that NRG is having onto sides.
We thought we would see the Navi that has always been expected at global events, who has like perfect coordination, is so good in the late rounds, and instead that second half it seemed to be the Navi who is struggling in EMEA during the regular season, who have good site anchors, but the site anchor is going to try and play on site and someone's going to flood in to help, but not everyone is. Instead of either playing off site for like a retake together or deciding to flood, they were always in this in-between that meant rounds just kept slipping away.
And something that had kind of started at the beginning and we were starting to see it really play out a little bit more so in the second half was Cena versus Artis. We were obviously keeping an eye on this, given that Artis used to be a part of this team, but more importantly because they went up against each other 5 times and, well, Cena got the better of Artis each and every one of those times. And granted, Artis picks up the win, so I think he's got the last laugh. But I do genuinely believe that CNET has to be happy about that, going toe-to-toe against the person whose seat you took there on the team.
Yeah, I mean, CNET was doing really well individually. They were dominating in the first kills on the side of Navi, but NRG was winning half of their 4v5s. They won 7 rounds where they were down a man, where it's just some Crashies and Victor clutching up in the late rounds.
As you're saying, 50% of the times, Navi had that upper hand, and it never meant, well, in 50% of the occasion, it didn't mean that they would get it. So it's the two sides of the coin. One team can actually improve for that, can actually get the round, and the other team does not find a response, does not find the value in it.
And that's the thing. On this NRG squad, Artis is good, but he doesn't have to be the superstar, which I think is what makes this core of NRG that used to be Optic so impressive, because they always got overshadowed by Ye, but now on a team where they can thrive and really be highlighted, I think people are finally appreciating how good this core is.
Yeah, 100%. Of course, you're taking a look at the aim lab shoot around here. Make sure you scan the QR code on your screen if you want to be able to use the crosshairs that you're seeing there. But I think, you know, when discussing this game and also like what we would be expecting, what I wasn't prepared for was how it felt as if Navi, when it came down to those retakes, man, they just ran out of ideas, or the idea was to just go and see what happens, you know, and then that led into, you know, Crashies getting an incredible 3K, Sam, you know, having big impact. And can we talk about Sam for a moment? I mean, that kid was popping off.
Yeah, Sam has just been so good in Americas, and he just consistently shows up at LAN too.
Would you say he's such a consistent demon?
We have to kill this. Okay. We have to kill this with fire right now.
No. But we were thinking about him. We were talking about him. How is he going to perform? Of course, we know that he's been incredible, as you said, during the regular season. But, you know, being that least experienced, let's say, in this international stage, the way that he was performing the entirety of the team, let's say.
Well, let's talk about the rest of the look of this series, because NRG is now up 1 in this one, off of Navi's pick, and we go to Lotus, and it was quite surprising to me that NRG picked into this, because they've really, I think, been struggling to find their form on Lotus for most of the regular season, all the way back to Lock-in even. They kept changing their comp, they were trying different solo controller options, it was never working, but then in playoffs, they stole Cloud9's comp, which is the neon sky double controller composition, and looked incredible with it, and the last 2 games they've played, they've won with that composition now, and really turned things around.
I think it also has to do with finding the weakness onto Navi and the fact that they struggle. I'm not going to say struggle. I think that it is part of the testing period of having seen it on Omen, seen it on Yoru, seen it maybe playing another duelist, trying to make him feel comfortable. If you want to test Navi in a map where they're literally not feeling at home, you have to choose Lotus. I think in the 7 times that they've played this map, they've used 6 different comps. They've tried everything. Some people are like, oh my god, Breach is so good. Oh my god, Killjoy is so good. They've literally tried anything that you might think of. They have tested.
Well, you know, let's go ahead and get some insight into that matchup there and what we just saw. We actually have gotten some words there with Doom Bros, courtesy of Yinsu. Let's check it out.
I'm now joined by Doom Bros from Navi. First of all, Eric, did you expect the Lotus pick in the map vetoes? And if so, how did that affect your preparation coming into this match?
I mean, we expected the Lotus pick. It was either Lotus or Bind, so we prepared for them both. I would say we prepared a comp for them that should fit this very well, so we'll see. Like, it will be a surprise.
I'm very, very excited. Thank you so much, Doom Bros, and good luck in the map.
Okay, prepare to come.
I don't like surprises. I don't like surprises, Giga. I've watched enough Navi surprises in EMEA.
Ooh, well, we'll see what ends up happening when the Prime Gaming Agent Select takes place here in a moment. But okay, what are they cooking?
So he said a new comp, right? He did use the word new. So they've tested the Gecko, the Harbor.
And now they're bringing out a race.
And now it's a race. Yeah, of course. I think they did test it, but without the Viper Omen.
Yeah, I don't hate this comp. I think my biggest concern looking at this one is a lot of teams have moved away from Fade Rays because what Sky provides you on your defensive side to rotate is so good. You can send a flash over Waterfall. You can flash deep in it. You have a dog to reclear. She's just exceptional at reclearing space in the mid round. And this Fade, well, she does have cats as well. It's harder to get value from them on this map where there's a ton of long angles. And, I mean, you can see it there. Navi, 33% win rate. This is another new comp.
Yeah, they also decide to start on the defense here. We've mentioned many times the combos that you can do with the Fade Rays. We see it, of course, on the stage, and maybe they want to rely onto that.
Oh, not today, buddy. Anyway, moving on, though. No, I mean, yeah, I think this is obviously going to be quite fascinating to see how this plays out, Mimi.
Yeah, I really like this Neon comp. I think this looks strong for NRG. Watch how proactive they'll be with Crashies and the Neon player here in Victor rotating in these mid rounds.
Well, I think the question on all of our minds is genuinely, what are Navi and NRG cooking with this Lotus map? Let's go ahead and send it back over to your casters. Of course, it's Doug and Bala.
Thank you, Golden Boy. Another composition for Navi, another variation in what they like to do on this map. And, you know, the Des was talking about it a little bit, Ball, but how do you feel about the raise here?
I mean, they started off with that raise all the way back at lock-in, and CNED looked slightly uncomfortable. It wasn't awful, but it definitely was uncomfortable for him. He's one of those guys who really favors the jet. But on this map, Navi has never wanted to run him on that. So, once again, they'll never settle on a comp on this map, but I kind of like, it's kind of a mix of some of the regular stuff and the Fnatic stuff. It's more like the Fnatic comp than anything else. The thing that they're missing is flashes, so we'll have to see how that ends up working out. They do have that buffered. Instead of the Astra that Fnatic plays, Angel has that Paranoia on the Omen.
Help a little bit. I mean, I remember early in the season, Angel up to some shenanigans with very aggressive ults deep into spawn.
Absolutely.
Whimsical ones at that. We'll see if we get any of that this time around, as we did see hints of that on Ascent as well.
Yeah. On the other side, though, NRG with this Neon comp, Navi should be a little familiar on how to play against Neons, given the prevalence of that for foot. They played quite a few times.
Did manage to get to him.
I'm out of here.
Pushed him all the way back into B-Link where he can't stay. Falls off immediately, and there's a big seize. Nade as well. Doesn't catch him because the speed of Victor.
Exactly. You see the value in the space. Being able to get past that. Finesse able to get the first. Now Sugetsu dancing around the utility. Looking for help. Trying to buy some time. The spike hasn't been committed. They're going to rotate out.
Just tapped it and pushed back. You can see why Victor wants to go there.
The Paranoia's ahead of it, though. And that might buy enough time. Once again, the pendulum swings, this time back towards C, and this time into the hands, into the laps of Zipan.
There's not those veto combos, though.
Does he have help? Can he deal any damage? No. Drop by Artis. Saw him taking a little bit of damage there. Crashies this time. Second time's the charm. Gets the spike down C.
I mean, they went around the world there multiple times, where the world is only C and B. But they've got full advantage, 5v3. The retakes were tough for Navi on that defense on Ascent.
And now we'll get to see if they're able to hold it off. Victor the first on the swing. Victor gets the second. A beautiful round for NRG. Prime Gaming flawless.
speed at which that started off for NRG, and they avoided instantly one of the key factors. The desk was touching on it, specifically Kakuka mentioning that fade raise combo. You saw the C's come in, it almost caught them. Victor's just slightly too quick.
Variable removed.
I think when I saw them run the fade raise very early on in the season, I was excited about the way that they were using those nade combos, but mostly on their attack side, not so much on the defense. And they abandoned it so fast that you didn't really see evolutions of it, so I'm interested how this plays out.
Did Finesse tuck behind that haunt towards A? There may have been a little bit of misdirection, and off of that, it looks like NRG want to rotate that way.
Okay, but they are getting the orb for Shao.
They've pushed up. I don't think they realize what's on the other side of this. Finesse getting the first. Bit of a hold to Shao, not able to land the shot.
Usually tough for them to escape this position, but Finesse pops his orb up, allows him to fall back into the util. By the way, another very crucial change here is Angel's playing on the controller and Shao on the Killjoy. The big problem, the biggest problem for their Lotus compositions and the meta in general for Navi has been the fact that all the double controller comps are also played with KJ.
Sure.
And because of that, that pure Sentinel from Sugetsu, it's tough to continue running because he's the Viper for this team. So Shao's been left in a role crisis, and you can see it come to a head right now as he's playing KJ, rather than the initiator, rather than the controller that he's been so good at.
Deep flash and the paranoia. Angel near side with 70 HP, looking to take a fight around the wall. There are a couple of headshots on the other side of it. He's not able to find any of them, though. And now with 10 seconds left, the rest of the round feels like a formality. Oh, I don't know how he hit that second shot, man.
And it is a good conversion on the anti-eco. And again, remember, for NRG, they lost both pistols. They didn't get the opportunity to play in these rounds specifically. So it's their turn to try to balloon the lead at the beginning of the rounds, or the half, I should say. Navi too, you could see actually, now they go for a more default wall, but in that that eco for them, they actually put their Viper wall covering B and C, kind of the opposite of the wall right now. You heard Doombros talk a lot during that halftime interview, or between map interview, about how they have something prepared specifically for NRG. Wonder if that factors into how they're using the Viper walls on this defense.
Very well could be the case. For now, NRG attention towards A. Finesse creeping his way forward. I don't know that they're going to be expecting this position to get to in the face of paranoia. Has to drop a molly. The utility, the way that NRG uses utility is so overwhelming. It's so oppressive.
It's not just the util too. It's the amount of times they're tapping this door.
Yeah.
They've tapped it 4 times already in this round. On pistol, they tapped it 4 rounds on the C side.
It's the scratching of nails on a chalkboard. You have to address it. You have to respect it. But you so desperately want it to stop. And Finesse patiently waiting for as long as he was. Gets to kill Angel, though. Sucker punching Artist.
Spike planted.
Definitely doable here for Navi. Again, their retakes have been struggling, but that's a start from Angel.
That's clean.
It takes down Crashes too. The thorn in their side is Psalm that one though this time.
Finesse is still in a position
That's ridiculous.
to play hero if need be, but he ultimately falls. 2v2 now, Psalm re-exploring. He's going to be going in through panel. Victor's already fallen, but I don't know that they're going to be expecting Psalm's position.
That nade is horrible.
Why would you expect another there? The Red Bull clutch for NRG!
Again, it's Psalm. What a beast. And he will be. The thorn in their side again. At this point. And that's brutal. That nade from Cnet, I have to say, again. He just completely whiffed on that one. Tries to cut off the spot that Psalm was last spotted. But not quite fast enough to react. And it's also nading his spike diffuser.
The clutches have come in bunches for NRG.
We're
early on the second map. The potential for more. You see the slight buyout for the defense. Just the Bulldog in the hands of Angel.
You start to look at more of those situations go in NRG's favor, and you're looking at a blowout here on Lotus.
Mind you, this is the attacking side. Maybe not to the same degree as we talked with Ascent, but attacking side should be favored here.
Of course, Navi, great at resetting the mental, great at being able to come back in these situations, but on Lotus, it's one of these maps that they have struggled with so often, and again in a retake.
Familiar territory, but not certainly one you want to see again. Som creeping forward, spotting Angel, dealing damage. 5 HP for the leader for Navi. Ultimately falls to 0 as Som once again causing problems. Another flawless round for NRG.
Multiple now. And it's going to be a timeout for Navi to recover from that Prime Gaming flawless. Those double smokes on the site, one was the defensive one was the attack side.
That was clean.
Make it really difficult for them to actually barrel through. And definitely, game plan needs to be reevaluated. Those ideas that you heard Doom Bros talk about, planned for this team, knowing that this pick was coming. Not coming to fruition right now.
You wonder what adaptations will be made on the other side of this, I think. But I mean, the truth is, Zip and Sugetsu have both struggled. Really, nobody has found very much traction at all for Navi. So maybe this is just even aside from strategic adjustments, just like, all right, settle. Right? It's still early in this map. There's still plenty of time to make a run at this.
One of the reasons why they're so resilient in general is because they're not really an emotional team.
Yeah.
And because of that, that may make it harder to capitalize on some of the momentum off of big rounds from CNET, off of big rounds from Shao. But you're right. Zipon specifically, I think, on that first map, had so many opportunities to continue to anchor the site, uses util in a good way, and constantly just getting countered out. Hurts over and over. He's one of those guys who so underrated on this team. And see how they reset. That timeout, unfortunately, has to be used, the bulk of it, to consider how these ults are going to be used from NRG. Not really even addressing the game plan.
3 ults to him, the lockdown, the Seekers, and then Victor's overdrive.
I like what they're doing, doubling down on the fact that they're getting up into A main. That haunt, that one-way combination is allowing them to farm orbs.
Different Viper wall too, you see how far up it goes, sectioning off B. But it seems like they want to NC. Once again, the tapping of the door and Crashies falls. How many pump fakes are we in for this time, Bala? Already had one towards B. This time they invested the lockdown.
The lockdown this time.
Yeah.
No chance to actually pivot back off of. Saw him very low HP. Is this pick good? Yes. Covers both waterfall, but it does give them some space to work with on the backside of the spawn exit.
There was no funnel behind that Prowler too that was intended to provide some info in the pit.
There's so many key ults, one pip away from Navi. They're not gonna have time to actually activate those with a kill.
All 4 members of NRG, with the exception of Artis, tucked in the pit. Oh! Cena trying to find space, catch him by surprise, and he cannot. Pit's still up, Pit's still in play. Saw him with 41 HP. Both players separated! Sugetsu finally taking him down.
They're giving up the pit though, going for mollies instead.
Both fire through, Artis with 2. He's gonna have to do it on his own. And with 2 bullets left,
to get half.
Flip runs dry, jumps up, tries to spot him! And Artis gets all 4!
He is just beasting his former teammates. And this time he's playing Killjoy. What a moment for Artis. Again, Sugetsu's really finally, he comes alive in that moment. Makes it really difficult. And you can see the NRG players falling back into that post plant, falling back into old reliable, dropping the pit. It's the right call. This time though, finally those ults, you can see there was no ults last round. This time they have 4. NRG challenging.
Remember, it's just Pistol Swarm. They do have 3 rifles, There is a little bit too here, and one of them finds value.
Victor seconds away from saving him with that fast lane.
Got to be careful here. The turret's going to provide some cover, but Navi have taken so much space down C.
He just broke it.
I've got your trail.
They're kind of trapped in right now.
CNED, not able to find it, not able to land it with the ult. But they're gonna push back into the space that Navi had taken. Lockdown cleared, members of Navi cleared.
Got rifles upgraded though across the board.
3 still in play, he wasn't able to find anybody.
Oh no.
Showstopper, the Phantom cannot either. Second time's the charm though, with 6 bullets left. Finds another. 3v2 in favor of Navi.
Crashes gets off here and allows Finesse to work this flank. The alarm bot was down.
He's so far up. Ziphan's gonna be the first to contact.
Moments like these. Mid-rounding from NRG. Finding gaps. Finesse is all the way through spawn. He's not even gonna get caught by Angel. They put this into a very workable, if not advantageous position NRG has because of Finesse's flank.
As a Molly, you just saw the orb used.
And despite the fact that that bounced a few times, it's still perfect. Maybe a gap on the left, but should be fine.
Crashy's just got a flash up too. Position to perhaps get info up in heaven.
This is an odd decision though, because he commits into pit, into the drop down. So he's isolated from Finesse.
Angel so weak. CNED not much better off.
Same decision being called from Navi, splitting up as well.
He's gonna hear him. Waiting, there it is. Shots delivered. CNED in, a 1v2, a chance to play hero, and he cannot, as Crashy shuts the door on the round. 6-0 on the attacking side for NRG.
These rounds are coming in huge streaks for NRG. It was 6 in a row in the first half of Ascent. It was 7 in a row on the second half to close out the map. Now you're starting again 6-0. I mean, those pistols in the last map that Navi strung together. A big factor in why that game was even a thing here. You can see, even when CNED has some heroics to get this round back, he gets shut down in the clutch.
Oh, this time Angel shutting down Victor. Paranoia traded.
The shift out of the timeout for NRG has been hit this A side hard. And the adjustment is not there from Navi to start pivoting. That nade, that C is over towards that A side. And don't forget, Artist used his lockdown 3 rounds ago, now back active.
Xiao's gone exploring. Once again, the turret to provide some cover. Meanwhile, the rest of the fight ensues towards A main. Navi are able to hold the line. They get 4. And a great response as Navi are finally on the board with a Prime Gaming Flawless.
What a way to come alive there, swinging out of the door. For all 4 remaining players.
Spike down A. Flawless.
And remember, that was still as well. NRG canceling that A main pressure. Angel just comes out way wide, gets the kill anyways, and TP's out. Despite not finding value with the one-way, with the haunt.
What's the approach for NRG here? Heavy towards C. And another opener for NRG.
Victor's neon is disgusting. And there you see, because the presence was so heavy towards C, Angel thinks he has a little bit more space, but the battle between the 2 IGLs. Finesse gets the better of him again.
And that's got to be so miserable for a defense to know you're not winning fight C. At the same time, you're losing fights A. You're not really gaining any traction anywhere. Ziphan spotted. Fight taken out of him. Trying to trade it.
He's the only one here. Still gets it. But they also get another kill on the other side. Oh, and CNED just has to shrug at that.
We'll get the spike down, and again, it looks like NRG will hit 7.
Tough position too. He knows Finesse is going to be hitting that lurk after getting CNED.
You just have to know, right? It's Finesse too.
It's hilarious too, because Finesse, I mean, has definitely struggled. He comes into this tournament as one of the lowest rated players, but consistently, when you watch NRG, he is finding rounds like this.
Yep.
Big multi-kills. Surprisingly, in the Americas League, he had some of the highest 4K totals out of anybody. Not even going to attempt it. So Finesse will just end with the 3. If history so far in this match has been anything to go by, they start another streak right here. That blowout will come to reality. It's just crazy, again, considering all the way back towards Ascent, how we were thinking that reality was not going to favor NRG after that first half that we saw. If they lost control of that first streak.
I believe that's a second timeout called from Navi.
Yeah.
So in the first half, they invest both and decide to go silent from their coach for the rest of the map.
That's something that Chet and Finesse can use to their advantage.
Yeah, you wonder too how much of that was extended off of the fact that the previous round ended the way that it did.
Yeah.
Right, there was just plenty of time for Shao and the team to talk through things. Opportunistic perhaps from Navi's leader to call a timeout and talk through this the rest of the way.
And there has been a shift since that last time out in the game plan from NRG. So it's tough. I mean, it's tough. 9 rounds in and you're calling the second timeout because of that sort of adaptation that is difficult to handle. With a rigid comp like this, you don't really have the room that NRG had with the Neon to be able to flex around the map. Regardless of what setup you start with. If you start with the Raise and Fade on one side of the map, it takes ages for them to get to the other. In time to be there. And the old cycle is going to be difficult for Navi to contend with. It's quite some time away for them to have any key ones, whereas NRG starts out of the timeout with, again, crucial ones. It was the same factor before, by the way. They had to spend a lot of the timeout talking about how they want to counter. For Lotus in general, when you got a KJ lockdown, it's almost always going to that C side or maybe a push-up H3. But the C one is just so effective. You already saw it once from Artis. And they do insert Victor to open up that door and take control of Mound very carefully. Oh, I mean, he just went out with no smoke, nothing there, active.
It's bold.
You should run.
Bold, but it works. There's the lockdown that you were just referring to and how effective it is. They rely on it here.
Oh, I love this.
Me too.
From Sugetsu.
Not only is it the pit from Sugetsu, but look at the space that they're taking mid.
I think that timing might be awful for him, though, and they're already taking pit. He does have space in spawn, but
Sam is in it.
He just recovered it.
He just bullied him out.
Oh, gosh.
Shorty, but he's decayed.
That was a crucial fight for Sugetsu to win. Without that tool, they can't retake the site, but there's a counter pit at the same time.
Site littered with green goo as the spike ticks. How do they flood their way in? Artis playing off site, but once again, everyone huddled up close. Sugetsu swinging around, not spotting anything yet. He's got to go into the pit. Both teams, like Navy SEALs, creeping their way forward cautiously.
They're going to save.
Carefully, and you're right, they're out.
That's crazy.
What a wild round.
And Victor's looking for exits too. Can he get both? Yes! That decision to save, all of a sudden they're thinking and scratching their heads. We should have gone for that. If this is the outcome, that we come out with only a single gun.
You mentioned a couple of rounds, Ball, of the possibility of a snowball, the possibility of a stomp. It's 8-1 in favor of NRG right now. It was a 6-round streak that was temporarily broken, and it seems like NRG are back on their way towards that.
They're not just on fire, player-wise, performance-wise. Their strategy is on fire too, and Finesse's calling is on fire. Everything working for this team.
I'll find you.
We'll have a different Han up on top of the pillar, but everything considered here from NRG. They don't even budge a little bit based off of different util being thrown out. They were so well prepared for this.
Trailblazer paves the way for Victor to not only take some space, but also clear the alarm bot that was intended to be defensive towards B.
One way refreshed. Multiple players here. Both the KJ and the Viper. Could be a deadly combination if they get. They don't have a molly actually, Sugetsu.
You see both from Shao. Waiting, and Sugetsu's already fallen. There are the nanos, they're progged. Try to find space, try to get through it, and they cannot. Shao's combination of utility holding him back for now, but he gets peppered through the box. Not able to find anything else. Zipan's rotating over, and he has the Nightfall.
Gives up his position here. Som can get away. They're going to push up.
There's the Nightfall. They want to go aggressive here. They can't hear a thing. CNED finding one with the Phantom. That's all it is. Oh dear. Som once again in a clutch. Spotting Zipan. The silence of the moment deafening. As now Som hears him and Zipan's on the flick.
Good recovery, and finally one of them fall. One of those 1v1 situations ends up going for Navi. And I say finally because it was a massive string of them throughout the entire series. This round was crazy. I didn't know who could not hear what.
Yeah.
Immense disappointment shown on Som's face, which is quite surprising given the scoreline shown right now and the control that they have and the performance that he's had so far. Gotta keep it under control, though.
Aggression from Navi towards B. CNED, the first there. Victor waiting on the other side. The Prowler finds a kill. And off of that, NRG decide they want to re-explore. They want to go straight into the space that Navi just found success in. And it's quiet. It's contact. CNED 8 HP close by, not able to find anything else. Seekers invested from Crashies.
NRG is just so good at having a variety of ways. Look at Crashies. Let's get canceled. Oh!
Angel looked at him too. 3v2 now. Once again, numbers disadvantage for NRG. Is there the potential for a clutch?
Finesse looks to want to break the door, actually, maybe pivot, but they're corralled right now.
Placing swamp grenade. Swamp grenade out.
Cautiously, Artis gets a spike down. Sugetsu creeping. The potential for chaos as Artis gets the first. 2v2 now. Finesse still a little weak. It's all eyes on Artis. He's gonna have first contact here. Actually, the wall isolates him. It was all on Sugetsu to find the value, and he does. Very well played to play around his utility to isolate the kills.
The fact that Sugetsu is able to realize how Finesse is using that wall to create a pocket for Artis is just so beautiful. It's a Viper v Viper battle. And you can tell why. He wants Sugetsu on that agent. Not that any of the util for him was impactful there, just understanding how Finesse is using his. And Navi are putting together a little bit of a streak of their own. 2 in a row right now. They could end with 4 total rounds in this half, which wouldn't be the end of the world. Not the greatest, but wouldn't be the end of it.
Yeah, by no means.
Lotus is attack-sided.
It is. CNED with an op this time. He's up forward by himself, too. They know where he is. The rumor to provide cover as he tries to take the door, and he takes Finesse with him. That nade is good. Buys some time, but Artis still gets the kill.
Damage done. But Victor gets on the racetrack. Plant the spike and Crashes, goes for a little too much there.
Angel's high ground was too much to deal with.
This time the lockdown won't have a chance to get broken other than that flank attempt from Som. And now he's put his team in a 2v4 situation where they're already going to be defusing before they even get out. And it's not planted for them.
No, I mean, the round is done. There's no way through. No matter how pissed you are, you're not winning this round. Navi equalize. 8-4 still in favor of NRG, but that could have been disastrous.
NRG with all the momentum. Let it slip a little bit. Despite CNED, by the way, he should have been dead without even one there. But still able to recover. Trade him out and get on that site.
Just masterful use of utility. The Roomba to provide some cover. Either way, an 8-4 half for NRG. Do not be fooled by this scoreline. It is attack-sided. Let's throw it down to the desk to break down the first half.
Thank you so much for that one, Doug and Bala. Yeah, already you could see just how prepped and ready to go NRG were at the start of this one. Credit though to Navi for at least picking up a few rounds there, Kukuka.
Yeah, exactly. But just at the end, right? It was a very rough start of this map. They were saying Doom was there, and we prepared a composition that is perfectly tailored for them. But in so many occasions, we saw that it was actually working against them. And we wanted to take a look at this round because of the Viper split that Finesse is going to be using. We were talking on the desk about how they've been picking up comms, and actually the best thing about them is that they understand them and they improve them. It's not some teams that just, they're like, oh my god, this team is so good with this, I'm just going to copy it and run it just the way that they do. No, they have that introspective journey onto it and understanding what is the best way to use the composition and to bring something new.
Yeah, and it's just little things like that that can help make NRG so good. And now what it's see as a little gap to throw the molly around the corner and keep that kit up. But now we head into the second half. And the question is, with this comp for Navi that they're yet to play, how well can they do on the attacking side? Because you'll notice NRG has nearly a 50% win rate on defense, which is pretty good for Lotus. These Neon comps tend to be defensive-sided because Crashy is re-flashing places in the mid-round and the Neon quickly rotating with him can give you a really good read on where your opponent is going if they're not super careful on when they're giving info away to those flashes.
And again, for me, Navi, we're seeing that fade is on Ziban. To me, it's a crime, kind of. If you have Xiao and you have somebody else playing the fade, I feel like the heroics that we were seeing from CNET is very similar to what we saw on Ascent. It cannot happen again, but maybe they will need that race operator to be shining on the defense.
That's right. They're going to need to look for some answers somewhere else. Navi are going to be taking a trip to the lower bracket. Let's go ahead and send it back over to your casters.
Thank you, Golden Boy. Bala, I don't know about you. My eyes fall towards CNED. Remember, we talked about the last time they played Raze. Yep. He looked slightly uncomfortable. Now, as the sole tip of the spear to go aggressive on attack, I imagine he's got to be able to find some space.
Well, don't forget Angel's on the team.
That's true. He is the entry. He is the entry. That's a very good point.
Yeah, that was all the way back at lock-in when they played this fade Raze. And they had some really good set nades. That haunt is ridiculous, by the way. The tech shown, but Artist not peaked.
Only tagged one. CNED wise to it. You see the paranoia as they try to take the fight through the door. Sam and Crashies both, with Victor not far off.
Such good understanding of the control that they have on Mound there with the one-way. Again, NRG displaying a mastery of strategy. Just like the pistol on Ascent, slowed down to a crawl.
Cover going down.
They're just going to re-hit as soon as that smoke comes back up from Angel. A flash to come through. He's got this in the bag.
Yeah, he was done. No real chance to counterplay there.
That orb is fantastic, by the way. Very difficult to do anything because you have to jump out once you get out of it.
Crashies has no flashes to pop out of
Whoa.
it. Victor going forward. Crashies with the first, and that's all it is. The pistol for Navi.
3 out of 4. Crucial for them to stay in that game on Ascent. And despite that, they still lost 13-8. Very well done, though. On the side of Navi, specifically Angel. And there was even a safety valve there with the flank from Sugetsu coming in late in the round.
NRG choosing not to buy here, just the shorty for Finesse. That pesky one that he can be.
I think that wall is actually jump spottable. And Navi are throwing out. You got to be careful with those. There's so much pros and cons for all of the different Viper wall on attack that you put down. And one can cover stairs, one can actually cover heaven when you actually hit the A side, one can prevent the jump spot. You actually see it right now from Som. Even when that wall goes up, he has a little pocket to peek a little bit.
Just over a minute left in this round. You saw the first orb picked up mid by Navi. Seems like that's all they want to do for now as they turn their attention towards A. Nade, the molly, and the door. I mean, they're fully committing to this. They've invested everything.
That's a really good nade and haunt combo right there. Not using a seize, doesn't happen in this round, but that nade pushes them into the haunt. So the players who are pushing in tree have full awareness of what's going on.
Sugetsu tucking inside the smoke in the face of the flash, drops the molly, Xiao gets the kill.
The orb coming up at the same time too, decaying them all.
Very nicely done.
And if you allow these post plants to get set up from Navi, they have so many tools. Not that NRG didn't, of course. We didn't actually see much A-side pressure from NRG, other than looking for picks in that. In the mid-round, they were always falling off. Heading towards B and C, Navi not doing the same. A whole map, holistic approach.
All things considered, very clean for Navi. They keep all their weapons. They didn't even take damage, if I'm not mistaken. I believe all of them carried light armor through.
That's important.
That's really as much as you could possibly ask for.
Minimum 400 credits saved on everybody. Best outcome. Now, considering that, a lot of those anti-ecos for Navi on the pistol round wins have been really best outcomes from them. Very good anti-ecos. It's just this round that they're supposed to have a better advantage because of the way that they buy up. That's become full meta at this point, where they're struggling. And look at this push, 3-man into B, trying to disrupt the bonus ideas from Navi.
The turret was there, Shao was close by, but Sugetsu's the casualty.
He's in a position that turret is not going to be active fast enough for him to react.
The defense rotating A. You've got Crashies with some utility, waiting on the other side of the panel. I think they may push him.
They didn't need through the panel to clear, so they have that space now. Got to look for more picks in this 4v5. This is where NRG was shining in that first map. Navi have yet to really display the same.
NRG patient on this. Crashy's only able to take one. His artist is smoked off. Has to give the space up.
You see him pinging so he can go for that spray on anybody jumping up on him in between reloads.
What is Angel up to? Just cleared so much space, but he's not able to get a kill. That would have been devastating.
That stun is disgusting.
Yeah, and Zipan is way too much heat to deal with.
And he just stunned up the entire room.
Victor's got 3 on the round. Shao's left alone. Paranoia soaring by his face, but Artis is the one who gets the kill. No bonus this time.
No bonus ever. Out of the 3 attempts, Navi really struggling. It's not a round that is very common to win. Obviously, it's about a quarter of the time. But still, Navi out of those teams, and especially given what we've seen so far.
One enemy remaining.
Now, they really haven't been super clean on the gun rounds overall.
Is that a giant cat?
I'm surprised there is an NRG watch party right now. What time is it?
It's got to be late.
It's like 1 a.m. No, actually on Pacific. Yeah, no, it's evening time.
Gamer hours. 3-round lead for NRG.
Meanwhile, Europe's just waking up. Good morning.
Early haunt. As Navi go towards A. And once again, mid pressure from NRG. Remember in the previous round, it was a peak. They got the kill. This time they funnel in, they take the space. And much like we saw a couple of rounds ago, they have Navi corralled, controlled, and honestly confused. They don't have any options on where they could go.
We've seen so many situations where NRG has put them in the pen. This time, though, they don't actually continue to tie the noose.
Sam dropping down. Seized. Oh, did he get away? Not enough time.
Imagine, though.
That would have been insane. Finesse finding the kill that Tom could not.
They've arrived now, actually, from the flank down to the site. Are they really going to make a go at this?
Seems like they may.
This is crazy.
Victor the first, Finesse the second.
What?
He finds the kill falling from the heavens. 2v2 now. He's going to swing his way out. Finesse with 3. Victor, 1v1, has to land the shots. Did not get it to half. 9 bullets. He's got to go. He's got to go fast. And Sugetsu keeps him back.
Even if he gets that kill, I don't think he had time, but still, he made an effort. And the fact that they get it down there, I thought it was crazy that they went for it in the first place.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, sure, Neon was making the rotate back off the flank, but so was Crashies. Completely on foot. Found a bicycle somewhere on the map, because that was quick. It almost works out. That's crazy. Still not all hope lost. They put themselves in such a good position on that first half. But Navi responding immediately is very important. Not allowing any streaks.
That's an excellent way to start the round.
I mean, to take down Crashies, yeah, 100%. He's crucial, by the way. I mean, as the solo initiator on this map, the Neon comp relies on having this guy alive.
It's a lighter buy, but Finesse was so far up. You see where you once stood. Off of that, Navi are going to funnel into C, take the site, get the spike down. Plenty of time to spare.
And even if things get hairy, Xiao has the keys to solidify. You want to make sure that you keep that up, though. That lockdown is what I'm referring to. He's so far back that, yeah, you definitely don't think that he's even thinking about it. With the rest of the players staying on site, you can tell they want to prevent that sort of situation from happening.
Question is, does Victor pop the ult here? Perhaps too much time has passed. Saw him with the Guardian not finding anything. Oh, he finally does.
I think maybe if Psalm stays alive there, maybe he goes for it. But still a 3v5, excuse me. There's no way with the eco.
No, difficult task. Victor picks up the Guardian. Artist still close by.
Okay.
Phantom, get out of there.
Nice, light armor too.
Last player standing.
I don't want to give up a kill there from Artist. I'm not sure how far he is away from his ult, but Sugetsu now 1 pip away. So they can play for that.
Yeah, very good point. We'll see how close he was.
Okay, timeout here from NRG. Don't forget, Navi used both timeouts in that first half. And Navi with the string of rounds right now, this is a huge opportunity for Doom Bros. Communicate to Angel the things he spotted so far in this first half. But I think mostly, finally, saying the things that we're doing is working. Here's the ideas that NRG are going to start throwing out at you. And the guy on your screen, Crashies, potentially going to be the linchpin of it all. Gotta see NRG start to find a bead on the sites that they're going to hit ahead of time. You're never seeing those same sort of stacks ahead of time from NRG, and some of those retakes as well. Unfortunately, they're losing players beforehand. They're starting to lose hit personnel before the site hits even occur from Navi. That's what I want to clean up if I'm Chet. On the flip side, though, out of a timeout, you've seen them, NRG, consistently go for some very cheeky plays. So I wouldn't be surprised to throw out a very aggressive hit.
You're right. I think about the Ascent hit on defense.
Yep.
Just a couple moments ago, off of the side of timeout.
That Odin spam. It's the beginning of the end for Navi, really. Still a close game, though.
Doesn't look like they have anything teed up here. Maybe some aggression A off of the paranoia and the flash for Victor to take space, but...
Yeah, actually, Navi doesn't have any presence there. It looks like Sugetsu will end up rotating towards A after he throws the orb, but no, actually. And no aggression out of NRG, so mostly cleaning up these early hits. And NRG have swapped this wall over towards this C hit. Remember, I was commenting on how Navi were using that in anticipation, but it's because of this lockdown. Key thing here is Sugetsu has his ult because he picked up the orb. Remember, Artist was the catalyst for that, going for that kill. Sugetsu gets it.
Oh,
can't melt there.
They get 3, they take a little damage off the molly.
That's 40 damage done to both CNET and Angel.
They're gonna have the pit, but Crashies has his ult.
Oh, and this pit actually allows them to come out of Waterfall, and with this mountain push, there's space for them.
CNET able to get the first. Som has fallen. You see Xiao playing very far off so he can fight Mound. And that's exactly what he's gonna do, but he doesn't really get a chance at the fight at all.
CNET with his showstopper's key here.
Angel just narrowly staying alive. There's the showstopper, and it gets 2! The defenses from NRG crumble as CNET gets 4, and it's a round for Navi. We're tied at 9.
Great adjustments there from Navi as well. For both sides, honestly, NRG completely expected the hit that was coming from Navi. They put the wall in that position. And that wall is great for retaking through Mound when this pit is so advanced out of the side of Sugetsu. That showstopper, though, brutal. And CNET, I mean, he looks comfortable. Look at him, 17 and 15.
Yep.
This Raze pick definitely working out where others have failed, or he has failed in the past.
Once again, aggression. This time much more committed. But the haunt, that's what throws the brakes on the hit.
A shift on the Viper wall, too. Towards the seaside. Finesse just jiggling, trying to prevent this again. Orb comes up. There's no KJ util here.
Yeah, I feel like we've seen this before. We just saw this. Larumba first, the molly traded.
It's the light buy too, so Navi have the opportunity to take the lead in this map. Has not. It's been eluding them the entire time.
Nick is close by, and it's just a stinger! Oh, no. He gets them both, and then the ult, but instantly stopped!
And Spike is down in control for NRG. It all falls to pieces.
Oh, what a thrifty round win would do to the momentum of this map.
Especially speaking as the first opportunity to even take that lead in the first place.
Can Xiao and Sugetsu clutch this out?
I'm concerned that door open actually obscures Som. Som can open it at any point.
Can they win this 4v2 with the spike out of reach? So close, yet so far. Wall goes up. Crashy's patient. No spam yet. Has a Vandal here. Fear of being traded instantly.
Door's open.
There it is. Finesse with the first. And it's a thrifty win for NRG. And that very well could be it.
Finesse and Artist just do so good on that site. I don't even know. I mean, that's a blunder for Navi to send both of your dive agents. In this case, the Omen definitely considered that. As he TPs through, it's Victor, excuse me. Those are 2 free kills.
With nothing but a stinger.
And the orb and the molly coming in as well from Artist rotating too. There's no chance to get in and to actually trade those kills. So Navi lose a major opportunity.
Vic has an op. And there's a lot of Navi presence A. Into that op. Angel, flashed, TP's around. Do they check him? They do. I'm not gonna find Valley, but Crashies gets 2. Now Som looking to triple dip his way into another kill in the face of the room, but not able to land the shots.
It's a great swing from the 2 Navi players there.
It was.
Finesse. Turret spots him. Definitely had an opportunity there. But there's no holes for Navi's setup.
Whoa. Late wall out from Sugetsu.
But nobody's there actually to spot from NRG that wall going up. And at the beginning of the round, you had confusion in the NRG camp about where that Viper wall was because he's been switching it between the C side, between the A side.
That's a very good point, you're right. Artist with a big one.
Why is CNET by himself there? And thinks there's way more space available than there is, and that's because the 2 players are anchors. They're KJ, they're Viper.
If they commit B, they're going to be having to deal with all this utility that Artist just set down. You see the alarm about the nanos. There it is. Buying time with 30 seconds left. It's a 1v1. Finesse against Xiao.
Look, he's running already towards the A side. He's going to hear the panel break.
He's ahead of it. I don't think he's going to get there in time to cut it off, though.
I think Xiao should hear him. He's planting the open.
The molly and the shots for Finesse. Just a step ahead.
Why does he need to plant in the open there? I think he has plenty of time, but maybe not. Just going for a gamble to make sure he can maybe get back past stairs. And again, CNET there. After losing that thrifty, they definitely split up.
Wow. I mean, for Finesse, you saw he was prepared. Prepared to drop the molly on where we expected him to plant.
Yeah, another battle again. Victor still with the op.
There's a lot more presence here, though. It's a clash. Angel made the same play. Just on the other side of the wall. Victor walks into his death. This time Navi far more successful. Artist finding a blind one, though, looking for the second to spam through the smokes. Leave Navi worse for wear. Not only is that 2 kills, but look at Angel's health.
These late round kills from Artist too. It's Artist and Finesse again in the same situation. Last time Artist was able to find CNET on a walkabout.
If I'm not
mistaken, though, they're grouped.
Well, if I'm not mistaken too, it was a 3v2 again.
Yeah.
This
All
time,
up, they're re-clearing here.
They're so far up. As soon as the wall goes down, the kills will too. Angel with 3. Zipan gets the last. Navi at 10.
That's a ridiculous flick from Angel. That wall coming down, he's ready for it. He knows so much what Finesse is thinking in that moment. And you could see concern on Finesse's face as he thinks that play should have worked. Not only that, but NRG really committing to this A-side push.
That was a very nice flick. And off of that, the last timeout for either side is called.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
Nope.
Not quite the distance yet. Navi lost the opportunity to take the lead, but right now, they have the opportunity to tie it back up again. And it's Chet who's calling the timeout. This could end in an epic battle, or absolutely looking like NRG dominate Navi if they end 2-0. We hope it's the first of many to come between these two teams of battles. Again, the first time Artis playing against his former team. Right now he's getting the better of most of them. CNED though still in that head-to-head. Definitely filling those shoes very well. That Artis left. If you're just joining us, it was a 13-8 on Ascent. NRG with a ridiculous attack side half. This time, a little bit more standard here on Lotus with these attack-sided halves coming out from both sides. 8-4 for NRG, but now it's within 1. And out of the last 2 rounds, there's been this A main presence over and over. This time, nothing for NRG, and Navi are capitalizing. Straight through the wall, they don't care.
They have Artis locked down, they have Finesse's pit. They've got Sam waiting too.
Satchel in with the Prowler through the door. They know the site's open. That lockdown might get broken by this nade.
Crashies.
It's gone.
It is, you're right. Crashies is gonna get the orb right before the spike goes down, and that brings his Seekers online. Off of the paranoia, you imagine they pounce with the panel broken. That's the case. Nightfall investors, Seekers too, and they understand there's a lot of presence towards main.
They're not checking. Sugetsu's really right around the root. They didn't check him.
And Schaus goes by too. They're gonna be able to stop him. They're gonna be able to hold him back. That's exactly what they do. Artis has to tuck tail and has to run away.
Doesn't have the same tools, and Navi trying to really keep the pressure on them. If they take down his gun, everybody on the side is broke, other than Artis. And they do just that. Tie game, Navi. Another opportunity to take the first lead of the game.
Whatever happens,
and remember, the last time they were here, it was a thrifty response from NRG.
Yep.
As you just said, they're broke this time.
And I was really wondering where that flash was going to go out of the side of Sam when they broke through the panel. They popped the Seekers. There wasn't really many good lanes for him to shoot, but he does use it where the Seekers go. But they don't quite consider, they don't see the fact that the Seeker did not clear that corner. Or maybe just overwhelmed with the amount of stuff going on in the pure chaos. You're right though, thrifty opportunity.
And the buy is dreadful. And the remaining money for NRG is not great.
This is the first time they find this instant pick and they back off, knowing that panel got broken early, so they immediately go into separate protocols.
Finesse is so far up by himself. You mentioned the separate protocol. That is a solo mission for sure.
They've got 2 players here on this B site, but again, these weapons are awful.
Nanos buy some time. The ult invested from CNED. Nothing found.
A lot of damage.
1 HP for Artis. That's insane. The spam from Sam not landing, but Victor's does.
That's even. That's a Phantom.
Can it be picked up?
Zipbound's responding.
No way he gets one. That's still just numbers, not
on the flank now
for NRG. And it's Victor by himself with the Stinger, trying to get through it behind the wall. It's a tap, buy some time. That's all it's gonna be. Yep. Navi gets a map point.
And Angel was the safety valve there. I love the fact that that was a light buy out from NRG. Sure, Navi know that situation, but they invest the showstopper, they invest tools that they might have wanted to save. That's important though, because they want to get to overtime. Again, they've only had the lead in this series a single time when they were up 8-6 on Ascent after winning that second pistol. So the 3rd lead now, and it couldn't come at a better time. They solidify at least overtime and still a big room to win this match outright.
For NRG, the money management masterful. They still have plenty enough to buy. An op in the hands of Victor.
That's to try to catch Victor.
Not landing. Angel's been there so many times. Chance to do it again, but Sam holding the line. CNED the first to fall. The pin invested towards C.
Yep.
And you imagine at this point, they've seen what they've seen A. They heard that ult go off.
Yep.
They should know where it is.
There's not really room to pivot back towards C, like you said. They know that in the back of their minds.
And you see the Killjoy setup from Artis, it's not in towards B main, it's through panel.
The thing is, though, out of sight, out of mind. Still a minute to work with. If they do end up pivoting all the way towards C, they have to come up with a late round plan. They do have a lockdown. They do have Angel's ult. I think they want to go for it. They have the tools to try to counter it. But still, in the forefront of their mind, they're choosing not to go for it. Choosing instead to continue this A pressure. And there's an op, and there's 3 players here. NRG, no, it's been favoring this A side.
It's been so quiet for the last few seconds.
30 seconds left.
Not a single step made, and finally the shot rattles off, finds the leader for Navi.
Look at that instant relay bolt as well from Victor. It looks like it's bound to a shoot button.
5v3, Sam gets another. Navi crumbling. Can they respond with 13 seconds left? I don't think they're going to find a space to get the spike down.
Well, lockdown will give them a lot of room, especially with the molly to cover up the waterfall push. They should get it down, but this panel push can come very fast.
That was very close. There's the nano. There's the molly. There's the kill for Victor. And even in the face of the pit, NRG do not fold.
We're going to overtime. Had to have at least one in this series. Last year, these 2 cores were definitely top 3 in their own right. What a spam from Som.
We saw EG find some value there yesterday with an Odin.
Yeah.
That was a Vandal in the hands of Som. That's crazy.
Remember, NRG, top 3 at every tournament, the global tournaments. 1 Reykjavik, top 3 at Copenhagen, 2nd place at Champions. The core of Navi here too. Couldn't quite make it to Reykjavik, even though they qualified. And they win Copenhagen. And they get that top 4 at Champions as well. Navi already a top 4 finish at lock-in this year. NRG top 8. These are the best of the best.
And what a gift, what a treat this series has been.
In terms of legacy, this right here. They don't have many battles against each other, but we're hoping for a lot more here. This is a first opening match for the 2 teams. Wall up. Very different wall from Finesse here. Allows some approach towards this A side by walking out behind it, using this Trailblazer, the flash coming in at the same time, the stun too. They're not going to commit off of it. You can see Som had it in his pocket to throw out that paranoia based off what the dog stuns.
He was ready to go. You're right, he had it primed.
But realistically, this wall was always placed to hit towards B.
And that's where they're headed.
And they used this alarm bot early to actually contain this space.
30 seconds left.
Just so they can come back to it later. Do they find success here? It's just an alarm bot. There are no nanos to really cover anything like that.
Xyz. No nade combo though. C-Ned was over towards C.
Victor's there to greet Angel.
He's running in
13 seconds
blind.
left. They get the spike down, and you're right. Zipa not able to find any space either.
Oh.
Chow do something here, perhaps to get to.
Spike's not down yet.
2v3, they've got to commit to the spike. Finesse! Almost able to hold it. How did he get it down? Artis left in a clutch, and Sugetsu with 4! No way!
He's on his feet. That's a ridiculous round. His teammate satcheled him while trying to stop the spike plant. And then he turns and gets the one tap. I think that was last bullet, Doug.
I gotta see that again.
Just the streak. 7 seconds. 3 players left. Spike not planning yet.
That is bomb. Maybe Lurker.
Oh my gosh. Is that last bullet? That is nasty. And Navi again, another match point. I did not expect to be there. After the initial start of that round, it looked like NRG was in full control.
Yeah.
Again, Angel, Zipan walked in blind. They didn't even really know what was on the other side. Give up their lives willingly. But it's because they wanted to summon Voldemort and Zipan. Angel of Death.
What an outrageous turn of events. Remember, the spike almost doesn't even get planted. Oh.
It's crazy that it did. That must have been milliseconds.
Oh,
My
yeah.
goodness.
Yeah, absolutely.
What a bout between these two. And once again, Navi match point. NRG used the one timeout they have in overtime. You get one extra for the entirety of all overtimes. It doesn't matter if we go to 10.
Now, note here very quickly, Victor once again has the op. It is glass cannon, but he's normally been setting up towards A.
Yes.
This time he's C.
Well, the important thing is, normally you're throwing that orb from Sugetsu. It looks like he's going to do it again. He actually uses the wall, though, so that might give a gap if it doesn't come up early enough.
But he's behind.
Molly, though.
Traffic there.
That Molly bounces on the wall, so okay. Good landing.
Woo. 53 HP. Remember, he had
committing. They're committing here.
88. Off of the decay. What help does he have? They've spanned this angle before, and CNED was ahead of it.
That's a big mistake there. They didn't have the right plan there. Because Som falls off, Victor tries to go into that space. But he doesn't have room to escape. He's not playing. Jet, Neon definitely can't dash as best as possible. And things are going to quiet down. Navi's been formidable in these situations where they get those early entries. But when there's room for individualism, out of Angel, out of CNED, things get definitely dicey.
1-3-1 setup here. The last couple of rounds have been so tense. So many resounding moments of silence. And off of the momentary delay, Navi turned their attention towards C. Early flash out from Crash. He's getting some info.
Dude, they farmed CNED's orb.
There's the ult! Nothing found from Som, as CNED just drops him. And it seems like they're going to be able to put it away unless Crashies can pull off heroics again.
No armbot, just in time.
4v3, and Angel's gone exploring mid.
Oh my goodness.
Crashies with a position to make a play. Had the shorty out for just a moment. Opts to go against it. And it's a 14-12 win for Navi.
What a comeback win on map 2 here on Lotus. Remember the first half, they were down bad. What was the start, 6-0 or something like that, before they even got there first. That is crazy from Navi, but not outside of the realm of possibility. Honestly, sort of expected. With the amount of tournament runs that they've made, the amount of situations that you've seen just that happen. What a game.
It delivered.
And finally, too, something with success here on Lotus. Against definitely a formidable opponent. But it puts into doubt. Again, NRG had the opportunity to pick Bind here, which for sure everybody's thinking is a very good map for them. It's not flawless this season.
It's one of their best, though.
Absolutely. Instead, trying to punish Navi on Lotus. Doombro said before, they've got something prepped for them. They've got something very standard prepped for them, and that is super important for the rest of the run from Navi and the rest of the series from Navi.
Both teams trading map picks, and that just sets the stage for a glorious finish. The fact that this clash between these two heavyweights, between these two juggernauts, for it to end on split. I mean, a setting that has had so many storied finishes.
I'd take Haven, I'd take Split between these two.
Yeah, yep.
And Split. Something where the meta has solidified quite a bit, I'd say. But you're right. Split has had so many gigabangers. For it to close out the map, or the series, but the fact that this series is even still playing is crazy. Can't wait to continue to watch this awesome, awesome battle.
Even that 4K from CNED, oftentimes you see that ult, that specific showstopper, hit a wall, or even hit the space but not land any kills. For it to get to there, it just really felt like for both teams, everything was hitting in the perfect way. And off of that, Navi walk away with an overtime win. Split on the other side of this break, and Bala, I would not have it any other way. We'll be right back.